angle too. Perfect angle.
All right, so here we go.
Obsession. Is it going in and out? No.
Don't worry about it. We're gonna get you right now. Yep. All right, so there we go. Yeah. So I'm gonna let you rock with my podcast music real quick. So now pull the mic close. You know what I'm saying? So get it in the shot.
There we go. Yeah, baby.
Get it in the shot.
We got it right there.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So we on Dre's Live right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We chopping it up. He came through to be a part of a documentary I'm working on. It's actually called Why Does Kevin Samuel Exist?
Yeah, baby.
So, he came to put his 2 cents in on it, and we just finished filming that part of it.
Yeah.
So shout to everyone who's going to see it in the future.
But real quick, like I said, last week of this month, I'm gonna be in Sweden definitely the 28th, and I'm gonna be in Amsterdam about let's say May 1st, and I'm doing my documentary like me and you talked about. Is hypergamy real? And we're gonna talk about the. Of
course it is. Of course it's real.
Well, me and you know that, but But the thing is like what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna approach it from the dynamic of how it's just different scales, right? So when I'm in, when I go to, let's just say Sweden, right? So Sweden is an egalitarian government, and Sweden has this thing where their mantra is balance, right? Because there's times where the sun don't come out, so their thing is like you can't work overtime without being taxed almost like triple the amount, because it teaches them equilibrium. So they are totally going to be different from us, who we're more like we're always on the hamster wheel,
right?
Which also makes our hunger for more even larger. So their hypergamy will be different from our hypergamy. But then when I go to some place like Amsterdam, which has morphed into New York City, is pretty much outside of London. I call it the New York City of Western Europe because of Nike's over there now, big time with corporate headquarters. You got Adidas, Under Armour, and it's just like you could navigate Amsterdam how me and you would navigate New York City.
Right.
It's easy to take the train. So we're gonna do that. So I'm really gonna get into the street and ask these women. What I'll do first is let them look up hypergamy. What does it mean? And then ask them, are you hypergamous? I might do it in Italy. I talked to my homegirl Marina, and she said the Lord's word the other day. I said, girl, I'm about to cash app you a donation. She was saying, listen, it does exist, and she was like, it's the mother's fault that it's gotten so bad. I said, oh.
So when do you want to start recording the episodes?
I'm gonna, like I said, as far as the hypergamy stuff, I'm gonna do it as soon as I land in Sweden, which is April 28th.
Okay.
As far as up here, I got my best friend who's a child therapist and psychologist, Christina. What me and her gonna do, probably through your setup, once a week, is we're gonna do we're gonna be like the first take or undisputed of the male and female dynamic in relationships.
Okay.
So, because me, I'm not, I'm so tongue in cheek. I'm not disrespectful, but I'm not, I'm tongue in cheek. I'm just, tell her the truth.
Yeah, well, relationships are always something that people like to discuss. So that's never out of style. Any kind of man and woman dynamic or any kind of relationship issues, especially if you're trying to solve some problems, that's never out of style. So anytime you start is a good time.
Listen, I feel like we live in a global community, right? And the one thing that I have, okay, so I'm not, this is what I would say. I was that before Kevin Samuels. So I was, meaning I don't say be a family because I'm pro-black, meaning, or it has to be a black woman. I feel like at this point in the game, a man or a woman, find who makes you happy. I do say understand that culture is the deciding factor, right? So what I mean by that is if you understand a regular black man, how he can end up with a Caucasian woman, because they speak the same language, 9 times out of 10 they're gonna eat the same food, obviously different seasoning, right? But there's no language barrier.
Yeah, no
right?
mayonnaise.
Exactly. So I once was in a relationship. I was in a relationship with let's just say someone outside of my culture. So the one thing I learned in that is if they're willing to yield and be American, like they do when they have like an ulterior motive, then it's good. But as soon as that changes and you hear, oh, it's this culture, meaning their culture. Why we gotta do it? Oh, it's this culture. Well, why I gotta walk on my hands in the house? Oh, it's this culture.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Listen, you know what's crazy? I'm gonna tell you some, I don't care. So I used to date a Dominican woman, right? Fresh out of high school. True story. And I noticed when we were on great terms, it would be Hot 97 or this one 105.1 first hit. You know what I'm saying? And as soon as she realized she was Dominican again, we couldn't even, like, I turned to Hot 97, she would bing, 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 bing. I turned to Hot 97, bing, 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 bing. We would just fight over it. That's when I knew we weren't gonna be together for long. Because it was like, so now you're a arroz con pollo and I'm neck bone and rice.
Suavemente.
Now I'm La Calle 73.5. Like I was that, and I mean she was that, and I was the Jackson 5.
Got you.
But just a year before that, it was they'll put on the Jackson 5.
I don't see. For me, man, maybe it's to a fault, but I love black women, and I just kind of I want a black woman. I mean, listen, black women are my preference. My first choice is a black woman.
It's on your menu.
Yeah,
I just like.
I mean, I've dated outside my race. It's not for me. It's not for me. It's really not.
Listen, I would say this. Once again, we are men of a certain age. What's more important, the hue of their skin, or are they gonna get on your nerves?
No, that's the truth. Like I absolutely want cooperation.
Ooh, this man said cooperation.
I absolutely want cooperation. That's on the top of the list.
Get a Lord a hand clap for this.
But I want cooperation from a black woman. I do. I absolutely do. I don't even all that divestment nonsense that they talk. It's just poopy talk. It's not real. The fact of the matter is, like, they're not, like, no one's scooping them up like that, and I'm not saying that to be disgusting. It's just the truth. You know what I mean? Like, Chad is not waiting outside your job. Like, hey, I got to
definitely not
get me a sister. Like this, it's just not what it is. So when we hear all this divest, it's just like some feel good Kool-Aid for a minute that they sip, and the whole little sister girl
magic.
Yeah, that's it. But it's not real. So I don't really take it seriously. I just let them talk their shit.
Now here's the question, right? So let's look at it from this objective. If that woman existed that you're talking about, right? Would you have found her by now? As far as like, because we're in New York City, right? Like my dad used to say, welcome to New York City where the girls is all right and the Negroes are pretty. But we're in New York City where everything is at abundance. Women are here, right? Okay, I got something even better for you. Forget what I just said. Annex that. You've traveled the world like I traveled the world, DJing, runway shows.
Absolutely.
So you telling me a cooperative Italian who loves obsession won't get the nod if she's ready for everything you're willing to fall in line with? Or you're that much sold on, being with that, the woman that you want to obtain?
In all honesty, man, at the end of the day, I want a woman that's cooperating.
Okay.
I would prefer her to be a black woman, but if she was a little Italiano and she was cooperating and it kind of lined up with what I had going on at the moment, then she in there like swimwear.
In there like swimwear.
There's nothing to think about. But I mean, my preference. Now, I wouldn't walk out the door trying to find an Italian woman. I wouldn't go out of my way to meet one, you know. But if I seen a fine sister, you know, like, what's up, Shaniques? What's up, Tamika?
Yo, I think. Listen, I think in the height of, you know, like Maslow's pyramid, you know, the bottom is clothes, food, and shelter. Then is education. Then is you get the job you want. Then you go into what we call self-realization, right? And I think where I'm at in my life is self-realization. I would listen. I know what I'm gonna say is gonna be controversial, but it's nothing like being in another country, going to a beautiful Italian woman and say, you know, ask her, you know, or even say, you know, io parlo italiano un po'. You know, I speak it a little bit, or, you know, telling a French woman, you know, asking her, tu componi inglés?
This nigga here.
You know, or if you're in Japan and you say to a woman, Ohio, genki desu ka, right? Or anatawa, right? Or you just like, it's nothing like saying goodnight to them. Oh, yosumi nasai. Oh, yosumi nasai. You know, it's to me, that's self-realization. You know, I by me being in Amsterdam, I wish I could master Dutch. It's such a hard language because it's icht and licht, right? So it's stop licht and you know, as German is easier because we speak German in English because guten Morgen, good morgen.
Dutch and German sound horrible.
Dutch is hard to master because it's a lot of, you know. So, but the point I'm making is like it's nothing like it. It's nothing like going to London and say, "Do you want a cuppa?" You know,
I can actually agree to a certain degree. I was in France and I kind of got my the world is big moment. I was on the train and we're in Paris and we were going to a radio station to do some promotion and it was rush hour, so the trains were packed like how they're packed in New York. And I looked up and I seen all these French people reading their French newspapers and, you know, just going along with their life, day to day, their reality.
Yeah.
And in that moment, New York seemed insignificant and really far away and really small.
I'm going to tell you like this. I always tell people this, and I don't listen to no one. People who say that's different, they're lying. But the one thing you learn about, like I always say, if I was just talking to Marina yesterday. She was telling me that Italy now has a great president, but before they had a horrible one. But the one thing I say about, like, just go to Italy, like, you'll see the same person, like where you're sitting right now. If I walked out the cafe and I walked in, you'll say ciao. I walk out again, you see me 2 moments, ciao. Everything is like quality, ciao, 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 ciao. I've seen it, and I'm just like, these people just saying hi to each other like 20 straight times.
That's
why?
crazy.
Because it's like, everything is in slower motion, right?
Right.
It's like, yo, when would I ever see you again? Ciao, ciao. You know, so when you understand that, like you say, the world, I'm in that point in life. Like, it goes back to what me and you always talk about on the phone. The good guy loses. I'm the good guy. I'm used to losing. So I'd rather, if I could win in another place.
Well, okay. I mean, I did my share of losing with women back in the day. You know, there's this one woman I could think of in particular named Charmaine. We went to school together.
Charmaine.
Yes, Charmaine.
Yeah, baby.
We went to school together. She was real cool. You know, I convinced her to come to the house after school. You know, play a little Nintendo. You know, do some homework. I saved my little allowance up, got us some Chinese food, you know, so we ate, we playing games. I'm keeping it a buck, nigga. I'm telling you what happened.
I'm listening, go ahead.
Okay. We sitting there eating our chicken wings and fried rice and playing Super Mario or whatever the fuck we playing. And we start kissing and rolling around on the bed, dry humping and shit. Then she sits up and she was like, you know, I like you, but you just too nice. And I was like, what does that mean? Like, what do you mean I'm too nice? I couldn't understand it. And she left, right? So I go next door. My uncle lived next door. I went to my uncle's house, and I'm like, yo, this girl just said that I was too nice. And he was like, well, he tried to give me she just wasn't the one. A nice girl is going to be receptive to what you pushing out there. Don't worry about it. You're just going to find her. What he should have told me is like, listen, man, you gotta get some I don't give a fuck in your system.
Get a load of hands.
Because that's when they're going to start acting right. And it took me till I was around 16 or 17 to understand that. I was a girl I was dating. Shout out to Sherry Ann.
Sherry, I like that name.
She was standing. She was leaving, right? And for whatever reason, I didn't want her to leave, right? She was just kind of being a bitch, like, I'm leaving, And I kept jumping up and standing in front of the door, like, no, don't go.
Right.
And the moment I said, you know what, fuck it, get out, she sat down. And I was like, oh. Oh.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
So now that she's not trying to leave, I'm like, look, get out. And she's really not trying to go nowhere. Next thing I know, she done got undressed and got back in the bed like, I ain't going nowhere. And I was like, oh, you was shit testing me, right? You was just putting me through the paces.
Why do you think that though?
I don't know, man. I can't understand it, and I've tried to figure it out. And I think they just have to see how far they can go with you, man. Like if they got to see if they can walk over you or not, or if you're gonna, quote unquote, put them in their place.
And that's what's crazy, right? Because now we live in a society that does not allow you to even defend yourself as a man. And I'm talking about just like on integrity, right? But this is why I'm doing the hypergamy documentary in Europe, because the one thing I learned about most of Europe, not all, we know that, but most, they're just looking for companionship. So it's like, I've seen it. I've seen women in Europe date the most like mediocre guy, and they were on top of the world because they just understand the companionship side of it, right?
Right.
Like I said, over here, bro, like you gotta be 6'4", perfect hairline, 18-inch penis. You gotta have a Range Rover driven by a horse, an island of your own, a frog, a dog, a solid gold bone. You gotta pick a woman up in your jet and pet her with the pet. And it's kind of weird, but but at the same time, I always tell, like, and some of my Facebook friends know this. I tell guys who tell me they can't find a woman, I be like, bro, go to Toronto. You're talking about, go to Canada, period. But go to Toronto. It's an hour flight, and you're going to find it is the land of milk and honey. All these women are single, most of them. They're all beautiful. And
I'm sure some ugly women in Canada.
Listen, I don't call women ugly.
I'm sure some,
but I will say that there's some that you're not going to go say, hey, show the ear. Then you're not going to do that to them. But you will, listen, just go to the Eaton Center. Just go to the Eaton Center. You just go to Eaton Center and just stand there. You're going to see just beautiful single women. It used to, put it like this, Toronto is the more liberal version of what we experienced in the early 2000s in Atlanta, where you could just go to Atlanta and go like this, poof, fish with dynamite. Think about Atlanta in the early 2000s.
Yeah, I hear you, brother,
but I'm just saying, if you can't get one home, if you could take a flight to Toronto, like, yo, you
I guess, but I mean, a long distance relationship, like I live in Brooklyn.
Right.
If she live in the Bronx, that's too far.
If she live in the Bronx, you better bring a gun to see her.
Yeah, I'm saying, if she live in Far Rockaway, that's too far.
Far Rockaway is like the middle of nowhere.
Nigga, that's an hour drive from here.
That's the middle of nowhere.
And it sounds like it's not that big of a deal, but it is. Like, when you work as much as I do, I got like 18 jobs,
Yeah.
I'm always on the grind. When things slow down and I get a minute, I would like to be able to just kind of, I'm going to shoot over there real quick. An hour drive ain't no shooting over there. Like 2 hours away ain't no shooting over there.
You better jump in that whip and go get some cookies and vagina.
That's all right, man.
Listen.
She need to
we
live.
live in a feminist society. Tell her to drive over here.
30 minutes. 30 minutes is the most I'm willing to do, man.
You in trouble if 30 minutes.
That's it.
30 minutes, what's that? If 30 minutes by car in New York City is what? It's a 10-mile radius.
Okay, but look at it like this, right?
You in trouble.
30 minutes is an hour because it's 30 there, 30 back.
No.
So if she lives an hour away, that's 2 hours.
The way Brooklyn is shaped, though, with the belts going around the borough.
It's nothing but traffic out here, brother. Like, stop it.
I get it. I'm just listen. 30 minutes, bro. Stop it.
It's just traffic. 30 minutes is the most I'm willing to put up with. Anything further than that is just too much, man.
Listen, I'm glad that you're not new to women, or I'm glad that you're not thirsty for, because 30 minutes you'll be in trouble. Because me and you've had conversations understanding that the pickings are slim to an extent, especially if you want cooperative.
But here's another problem. Mm-hmm. Here's another problem. Mm-hmm. And I don't think we talk about it enough.
Go ahead. Ocean floor deep.
Dusty niggas. Dusty niggas are a very big problem.
Now, when you say dusty niggas, you mean beta?
Yeah, no, not only beta. Mm-hmm. Because you got some quote unquote alpha niggas that's dusty too.
Mm. I agree with that.
The ones that's standing on that corner.
Mm.
Everything that walk by, hey, yo, mama, let me house you, let me talk, let me talk. Sure, give me a second, hold on, let me come. All in your DMs, you post a picture, they all up under that woman's pictures.
Thirst traps.
Yes.
Thirst traps.
Okay, in the DM, sending dick pictures and all that other shit.
Jesus, help him, Father. Jesus.
It's gotten to the point that, like, women who were bona fide fours have the attitude of a dime because they get so much attention from the dusty nigga. Their head is just swollen, and you see them on the street, you can't even say hello.
Whoa.
Every nigga want them because these dusty niggas.
Yeah, I mean, look.
These half-raised, emotional men.
Listen, any woman, I tell any woman, I don't care if you married. If you with a highly emotional guy, abort mission. Because like I told you, my homegirl from Germany said, Andre, men and women are the same. They got different body parts. I said, okay, so me and you got to make a tough decision. What, we going to cry on the couch together?
That's crazy.
Right, what are we talking about? Like, it's a different dynamic. So what I'm saying is like, yeah, listen, we are literally against the rock and the hard place. Dusty, as you would say, beta in the other.
Yeah.
And they go like this, slowly. Yeah. And it seemed like the beta is quicker to pounce. See, the dusty one is more consistent, right? Every day pounding at the rock.
Hey, yo, ma, let me help you, ma.
Right,
what's your name, ma? What's your number, ma?
But
Let me give you 2 seconds, ma.
The beta is hiding like Inspector Gadget behind the pole. Oh, Will Smith did something? Here we come. Save black women. Or anything, right? Yeah. It's gonna rain for a week. Save black women. Oh, gas went up. What y'all doing for y'all black women? It's just like there's no nuance to that conversation.
I have to agree.
There's no nuance to that conversation. And I was just telling my man, who I told you I got on his show yesterday, when I heard some of the people who were defending, listen, I don't have no problem. If you feel like Will Smith was in his right, okay.
He wasn't though.
Listen, people gonna, but
they can say what they want, but they're wrong. He wasn't right. He just wasn't.
I agree with that. But the point I'm making is that why do what you do in your household with your wife, it will not be the same for me. So why would you always say, well, he was protecting? Would you have protected her in that position?
Okay.
Right? It was your night, bro. You could have just chilled.
Wait a second here. You see, a lot of those people who were making those posts, if you go back a little bit on their page, whether it's Twitter or Facebook or whatever, I bet you their timeline is laced with misandry.
Of course.
Right? So that alone lets you know that this whole protect black women thing, it wasn't coming from a place of we really want protection for black women. It was coming from a place of we have another way to dog these niggas out. Like we got some more shit to heap on them.
That's all it is.
That's all it is.
It's literally opportunism run amok. It's basically saying obsession and I'm just using my name for rhetorical purpose. Obsession. Andre can get a girl. He don't know what I gotta go through.
I don't give a fuck what you gotta go through.
Well, you don't. I'm not saying.
Listen,
hold on.
No, we can't save them.
Hold on. After this weekend, I'm starting to be like you because I see that their tactics is just all out. I'm gonna just say what I gotta say to get a woman. Whereas, with me, like I said, I'm so honest, but I'm never disrespectful.
Listen, you have to have a purpose.
I agree.
A woman can't be your purpose.
Oh yeah, totally.
The moment she finds out that you're her purpose, she's done with you, bro.
Listen, I always tell, this is my new thing that I tell all men: a woman will attack you at your weakest.
Yeah.
Stop me when I'm lying.
That's a fact.
A woman will attack if she see that you're not motivated to be in the best mental shape, physical shape, financial shape at any given time. It is pop your head off records, die slowly the album.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. It ain't no, we can do it, baby. No. I see it in you. The old when they get the sweat beat, I see it in you, Jesus. No, it's like, all right, this nigga, he on the counseling. Look, I'm gonna be over there in 15 minutes.
Oh, you know how many times I got that phone call?
Listen, you are ill.
Yo, it was this one chick named Tasha. Yeah, I'm saying names.
You're the illest in America. I don't know nothing about this
Tasha
woman
from Flatbush. I'm just saying, I'm throwing on out there. She had a boyfriend named Ronald. So shout out to Tasha and Ronald.
Help him, Jesus.
And she used to call me all the time after he left and be like, "That nigga Ronald just left here. Can I come over?" Can I come over? Because, all he did was playing my money.
Let me ask you, okay, I'm going to ask you a real controversial question. Mm-hmm. This is something that I don't do, and I'm not virtue signaling at all. I'm not.
Okay.
But I always like men's perception on this. Do you feel bad after you plow?
Nah.
Wow.
Never.
Why not?
Never.
Why not?
I've never felt bad about it.
Why not?
Well, because she's just doing what she do. Like now, if I pursue this woman, like let's say I just went in to try to break up a happy home. Like this was my mission. I was on some seek and destroy type shit. That would be one thing.
I agree.
Right? But if this is a woman who's in a relationship but she running me down, why should I care?
I agree with that. I don't agree with it, but I see what you're saying.
Listen. It's two things going on here. One, he's with the wrong woman. He should. No, it's a fact. Like, she's not for him, right? Because the woman that loves you is not going to do that. Like, a woman that really cares about you
I agree with
and
that.
wants to be with you, she's not going to do that.
I agree.
So clearly, she's not
that
one because she's out here. She's fucking around with me.
I agree with that. Now that part I agree with.
Okay.
Like you heard me tell men this personally. If your woman cheats on you, you could cancel Christmas. Yeah. It's over.
It's over with.
It's over.
It's over with.
I agree with that. I don't even, that's why even if it's a woman that I'm interested in, if I see her remotely giving attention to another dude, I'm like, oh, you good, man. Like, it don't bother me. Like, maybe because I'm a little bit mature and in my purpose, and that I always tell any woman, friend, foe, family, whatever, I always tell her, like, yo, your hypergamy will never outmatch my ambition. Like, I tell women all the time, if you knew, because pre-pandemic, and you started to see it yourself, pre-pandemic, I was mobilizing something in this world that nobody was going to foreshadow. But, I needed that time off the hill, too, during the pandemic, right? Like I said, before then, I had lost my hair. I was just, I was still focusing, working, but I was in a different space. Now, like I said, I went through the lockdown Batman and woke up the Joker. And I love being the Joker. It is nothing more entertaining than saying something so outlandish to these women that, like, they come to me because I'm the oracle. They're like, Andre, is my man cheating on me? I said, of course he is.
Yo, as you say that, like, I remember me and my homie, we rode around we rode around just randomly pulling up on women. We decided we decided that we're gonna just roll up the women and say the most outlandish thing we could think of,
and they love it,
and see if we can get a response. Right? We weren't serious,
of course.
Right? We was just seeing what would work. Right? And I would never forget. I was on Gates Avenue, Gates and Marcus Garvey. You know, that's the hood. There's a girl standing on the corner. This was back in the day because she was on using a payphone. So we pulled up, and I leaned out the window. I was driving a van. I don't know why the hell he was driving a van, but he was in a van. And I leaned out the window and I said, "Yo, who the fuck I gotta murder to take you out?" And she was like, "You ain't gotta murder nobody."
Yeah.
She melted. I couldn't believe it. Now, I wasn't even on that type of time, but that shit worked. You know, she gave me her number and everything. I never called her because I didn't want to have to keep up that persona to deal with her because I wasn't out here on it like that.
Yo,
but that line,
could you imagine,
worked.
as sick as I am mentally, right? Because I'm super creative mentally, right? Could you imagine if I was in that car with you and we just take turns? Like I'd have pulled rolled the window down and said, "You know how much abortions are going for this week? Because I'm getting you pregnant."
Yo,
you know, I you know me, I don't.
Yo, believe it or not, some people go for shit like that.
That's what I'm saying.
It's very strange, man.
That's what I'm saying.
Very strange. But you know, going back to the nice guy thing, I didn't want to have to be an asshole to women. I hated that I had to keep them insecure and off balance for them to quote unquote act right. You know, the moment that I would treat them the way I wanted to, which was be nice, you know, be attentive, be the nice guy, so to speak, right? Do all the things that television tell you supposed to do, be flowers and candy, be pleases, yeses and thank yous and all that good shit. The moment I would treat them like that, they would give me the ass to kiss. And I couldn't understand it. I was like, why can't I find a woman that I can actually be nice to?
You know what's crazy? Hold that thought, but it just popped in my head. Think about what you just said, right? You know what's crazy about that though? But all their favorite music is, "I'll cook your meal, I'll sweep your floor, I'll wash your dinner." You know, it's just the weirdest thing. So it's like, okay, so when Maxwell is singing it to you, it means the world. But if I do it for you, it's like, yo, pull up your britches, boy. Wipe the snarl off your mouth.
You a bitch.
Woof.
You a bitch.
Ain't that crazy?
If I start telling you, get the fuck out of here. Don't ask me where I'm going. Why are you calling me? When I'm doing all that, it's like, stop here. Where you at? I'm outside. I just stopped by. Like, it's like, okay. And I hated it, man. And I was like, I would sit there and look at them sometime like, why do I have to mistreat you for you to treat me right? It's the weirdest fucking dynamic in the world.
I started something new today. I told women, I'm slapping y'all for the culture.
Nah, you on your own with that slapping shit.
No, but like I said,
jail is a hell of a thing.
I ain't going nowhere near. But I would say this. A wise man once told me, which was somebody close to me. He said, "Listen, you hit your woman at home is discipline and love. You hit her in public, it's abuse." No, but listen what I'm saying.
Get the fuck out of here with that shit, nigga.
I'm just playing. Listen,
you on your own with
what
that
I'm
violence.
saying is, and I'm just playing, but what I'm saying is that it's irony at its best that Joe can tell you all the things your man won't do, but you're the one doing it, and it's never enough. But Joe could tell you all the things your man won't do. Listen to what Mario. Do you know what dirty macking is? Listen to Mario's song "Let Me Love You," and I love that song because I was a simp at the time, right? You should let me love you. Let me be the one to be everything you hope and need. Now, I'm going to show you the inverse of the graph, right? We're going to show you the slope now. I'm a victim of certain things that happen to men and women when they fall in love. I ain't going to get into the total dynamic of it, but I'll never forget. It was fresh in my mind what I went through, and I'm sitting there, head between my tail, and blah, blah, blah. You know what song came on?
What's that?
These hoes ain't loyal. And I listened to everything he said. And that's when I was like, yo, this is Like the man said, when the rich want you and a broke can't do nothing for you, what you think she gonna do? Mm-hmm. I don't mess with a broke, but I turned the broke rich. I was like, on my life, I'm sitting there like this, scratching my head, like I started crying. I said, I said to myself, what? I'm almost tearing up.
Yeah.
Because it lets you know that you're in the double whammy. Because if you're nice, then you're too nice. And if you broke it nice, then you out the game.
Yeah, you gotta strike a balance though. Unfortunately, you gotta be a bit of an asshole. Unfortunately.
I totally agree with that.
Unfortunately, you gotta be a bit of an asshole.
I'm sorry about that. I'm gonna tell you what an old player told me, and it makes so much sense. In the land of the wolves, it's okay to be the sheep as long as you dress like
as long as you dress like the.
And that's how I live.
I try to find a balance, but I kind of get sucked into it sometime, man. And then I just can't stop treating him like an asshole. Unfortunately, I don't want to be that way, but it's just like when you're nice, it don't work. So what the fuck am I supposed to do? Like, I
think
I don't get it, brother. Like, do I continuously be this nice guy until I find a woman who's going to receive that and reciprocate?
I don't know.
I don't think I can wait.
I'm gonna tell you like I tell you. Like I'd
rather just be the asshole.
I don't listen. I'm at the point in my life that I can decompartmentalize that even if she lives in Flatbush, Brownsville, I ain't going to the Bronx, but whatever in Jersey, I could decompartmentalize that. I have this to do, this to accomplish. She's here,
right? And
when she's here and I'm there with her, I'm good. But while I'm not, I'm in my purpose, right? That's why it's easier for me to go to Sweden and go to a woman and say pulsar, kiss, right?
Okay, so what now with these women? Do you mainly deal with quote unquote successful women?
I'm just speaking
like six figure.
When you're talking about I go over there now for business, but if you're talking about when I was young and out there like that, it was all types. What
is your preference now? Like, what kind of women? Like, I mean, do they have to have a master's and some money?
No. It just got to be 50-50. I talk, she listen. She cook, I eat. 50-50. You know what I'm saying? So it just has to be, it just had to be amicable.
I mean, I've dated women who were well off. I've dated women who.
Yeah, I remember you told me about one that was.
Yeah. It's real interesting stuff. But now particularly, like, I try to avoid those career-driven types.
I don't. Why?
Well, because they usually have a way that they see their life. Let's say, look at it like this, right? Their life is in levels.
Okay.
Right? They have it all mapped out. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to get my degree. I'm going to get a house. I'm going to live in this neighborhood. I'm going to get a job that's paying me this kind of money. And you are just supposed to fit into a slot that they already, a little prefab slot. You're supposed to slide right into that slot.
Oh, so you basically like saying appointment dating.
In this pyramid of their life.
Right, appointment dating.
So, so I'm going to have a man to cut the grass.
Right.
He's going to fix stuff around here. Like, fuck your dreams and aspirations.
It's almost like it's almost like dating the Living Single sitcom. You got Overton with the belt, and then you got the accountant, which was Kyle, right? So you have men for different
you become a utility.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to do that. Like, and usually that's what I run into when I run into those types. It's like they have their life set up, especially now that I'm a man of a certain age. Like they've lived a life, and they just want a man. Like, I just want somebody to come over and cut the grass. I just want somebody to come and fix some of this stuff that's wrong. And I'm like, I'm not doing all that. You know what I'm saying? Fuck that. Like, what about the shit I want to do? I'm still somewhat young. I'm doing my thing out here.
Right.
I'm not trying to just fit in some little circle that you carved out for me.
They don't.
Like, it's like They want you to kind of complete their little idea of what life should be.
They don't want to hear
fuck
that.
what you got going on and what you want. That doesn't matter. So no.
Yeah, they don't want to hear that. Look, I can deal with both, and one is because I'm a nerd, right? The one thing that helped me a lot, especially now, is that when I was younger, I was deep into like, I was heavy set, wore glasses, and listen, I couldn't get a girl, I'm talking about from school to church, to spit on me, let alone piss on me. So what it did was it made me develop other parts of my mind, right? And so what I'm saying is like, so with me, I could deal with the a-hole woman, I could deal with the nice woman, which is kind of like oxymoronic, but I could deal with all of them, because when I was alone, I had to learn how to develop the whole field or the whole canon of what I was going to experience. So with me, one thing, if you talk to any of my female friends, and I'm talking about friends, right? They'll tell you he's the easiest person to talk to, because I understand where they're coming from, because I was around my mom, my two sisters, my cousin, and I never had a woman. I couldn't get a woman until about about junior year in high school, right? And then like I said, once I started traveling and just looking at interactions, it just allows me to understand, like, yo, that's why I'm cool with, I'm cool with who they are. Like you hear me say ad nauseum, and I tell this a lot of women at work, I'm not mad at them being self-interested creatures. I'm not mad at them being like total contradictions, because for me to get mad at female nature is like getting mad at a bee for pollinating a flower. It's just what they are. And just like men, I laugh when women like want, me and you always talk about this, you want Captain Caveman to be Heathcliff Huxtable.
Yeah.
Right. So you want me to go out, kill the bear, bring the bear home, drag the bear, put the bear on the table, feed me, but just this one vagina. It's like, okay, so I'm supposed to be this big bag of testosterone, right? And knock through walls, and then just see one. It doesn't. That's just not human psyche.
Well, that's the part of it that you just got to keep to yourself, brother.
Well, it's kind of,
listen, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, bro. You can be honest as you want to be. You can be as upfront as you want to be. Women ain't trying to hear that shit.
Listen. That isn't that, but that's the diametric opposition that all men and women will go against, right? One, men don't understand that women, when women are better communicators is when they're cheating, because they have to like create a narrative.
They got to pay attention now.
There you go.
Yeah.
And another thing that helps them against us, we're so transparent. Men are sloppy by nature a lot of times because we're simple creatures.
Yeah, and we fall into habits a lot quicker than they do.
We fall into habits, correct. Yeah. So for me, I tell people, this is why I don't have to cheat on women. And I don't have to disrespect or be mean to women, because I'm at the point in my life, ain't no woman gonna take me from what I gotta do, right? Anyone who knows me on a personal level, they be like, Andre, how you doing? I'm like, until I'm butt naked in Monaco eating grapes, I'm not good. Like, I got to get this money.
There you go.
And I tell them that because I keep it on that same wavelength. Personally, I'm the type of person, anytime a person reaches out to me, even if I'm busy, I'll always contact them first. I'm always going to be respectable, and not respectable on the respectability politics side, but understanding they have feelings, understanding that, hey, maybe I might be the person they need to speak to for the moment, right? Maybe I might be the person that, and that's cool. I don't mind being that. But what I'm saying is, I also don't mind being that because I understand the nature of them and of us, because men are the hunter gatherers. This is why men gotta have, listen, if you give a guy opportunity to get, I always say this, you give a guy, if you had $1 million, you said, Andre, you my man. Woman take you to the car lot. You can have the Bentley truck, the Maserati truck, the Ford Explorer, or the Kia Sportage. We're not looking at the Ford Explorer or Kia Sportage.
Of course not.
And that's just men's nature.
Yeah,
men's nature is of like this like aggrandizing thing, right? It's like, right? We just want to be like, we're just like literal dogs when you walk them down the street. They see each other, right? But what I'm saying, I say that to say this, is that, look, the dynamic between, see, me and you are a rare breed because you kind of, well, I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but you told stories when you was the nice guy or the simp, as I like to say, right?
Yeah. I was a simp for a
I
while.
am a card-carrying former member, Lieutenant 5-star General of the Simps. And I understand that. But I always use that as a gauge of how to, of the point of attack, right? I can see it coming before it don't. I can tell you when a woman's gonna ghost you. That's why dudes always come to me. Or I can tell you when a woman's gonna like turn on you, cause I'd be like, bro, is she doing this, doing that? They're like, yeah. I was like, yeah, she gonna leave you, bro. Don't worry about it. I said, bro, as soon as Jesus comes on Sunday, your woman's leaving you. I said, I know it's gonna hurt you, but it's better me tell you than you get in the Dear John letter. So my thing is like, yo, I'm very strategic in everything I do. And I'm very, like I said, I'm just a fun-loving person. You know me, I laugh at myself. I pick on myself all the time, you know? And I think that for me, it enables me to like win people over because like, Andre, you can't take, if I pick on myself first, then you can't say I'm like this narcissist, right? I tell you my flaws. Like I hate my freckles, right? Now, thankfully, my dermatologist in Toronto told me about this non-abrasive surgery. I'm getting rid of all these things. And I'm going back to rocking. I'm going to my European model look, my baldy. You're getting rid of these waves. I'm getting rid of my hair. I'm going back to like Fabio Jenkins, some type. Like,
all right.
You feel me? I say that to say this. What do me and you say? Groom and prune daily.
Oh, yeah.
In speculative masonry, there's a saying, there's no such thing as a perfect stone. One must carve daily. That's why you always see me working out. That's why I'm always on my mental,
there you go,
financial, even style, right? You gotta, it's all about presentation. And, you know, I think that's a good way for me and you to end this episode of my church. Thank you, Jesus. Hold on, we're gonna have a devotion. If any of y'all feel the need to donate to the United Negro Get Andre Fresh Fund.
The United Negro Get Andre Fresh Fund.
Or if you
like
want to
that.
be a, you know, Umar got his school. If you want to donate to the Andre School of Financial Literacy and Polygamy Science, where our slogan is, we turn women into women.
Just about going to do it for us. We're going to pack it up and get the
But
hell out
man,
of here.
Appreciate y'all for our first episode, man. Me and Obsession is like the odd couple, but we the same person at the same time. I'm going to hopefully Christina, who will be my opposition when we talk about the male and female dynamic. And, you know, we just having like, you know, and she's a psychologist, which is beautiful because we're going to use scientific terms. We're going to actually get into the studies of how people think and act so we can learn from each other. And we're going to laugh, man. One thing about me and Obsession and Christina, listen, y'all haven't met her yet. She's hilarious.
Yeah.
You know, and the one thing about my man Obsession, like, yo, we going to laugh at ourselves, man. These are true stories, man.
Oh, we just touching the iceberg right now.
Listen.
The tip of the iceberg right now.
Listen, man. The Reverend Dollar B. Green, a.k.a. Marvin Lucius King Jr., will be here to lead y'all out of bondage, man. We gonna have fun. We gonna learn. Y'all gonna laugh at how ugly and silly I am, and we just gonna have fun. And like I said, look out for
The
Obsession documentary.
Why does Kevin Samuel exist?
Why does Kevin Samuel exist? With a focus on other things as well. And me, I'm definitely starting the hypergamy documentary later this month when I go to Sweden and Amsterdam, and we're gonna just really get into the crux of what is in the female nature of thinking. What is their natural, preference? You know, the bigger, the stronger, the baddest, the most resources.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that conversation. It's fun to me. It's fun. You know, it's fun, and I think we can learn. And there's nothing wrong with us learning while trying to build back the nuclear black home and the nuclear white home and just the nuclear home, right? We need families to survive in this hyper-capitalism.
Family above all things, man.
Family
it's
above
one of the
all
most
things.
important things. I think we've gotten too far removed from that, and it's all this rugged individualism that's promoted to our, especially our community. And now that's probably, not even probably, that is one of the reasons we have so many problems. And there's so much going on right now, especially with the kids nowadays.
Yeah, rugged individualism is such a dynamic term. You know what I'm saying? We're in the Hunger Games. And the only way you survive in the Hunger Games is continuity and just being family. Being, like you said, just having a tribe.
Yeah.
How about that? Having a tribe. So we got to figure out who's our tribe, and one thing about this, when we start taking calls and we go,
973-574-3398. Again, 973-574.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
But yeah, once we start doing all those things, listen, ladies, y'all can share your mind. We're open to it.
Yeah, I actually look forward to it. We're going to do this once a week.
Once a week, we'll do it.
I'm gonna get on camera too, because right now,
Yeah, he's handsome. He doesn't want to be on camera and make you ladies jealous.
I don't want to. I don't want your man to make you get off like, who that
right,
handsome nigga you
exactly.
looking at?
The best way to get the message, put the ugly dude in front of the camera, which is fine because that's fine.
Stop
I embrace it.
Stop it.
But like I said, I'm humble because what you're doing for me, Obsession, because I'd be so busy, and we talking about, I can't even design the way I want, but we be so busy, but now I can really get these thoughts, because truth of the matter, when you came to see me at Retro in Williamsburg,
I
was talking at Kevin. I was talking it before anybody else. Yeah. Every day.
It's a fact.
So it's just I wasn't disrespectful. I will never be disrespectful. I'm never going to degrade and degradate and subjugate and any gate and floodgate and, but what I am going to do is we're going to have a very objective opinion.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to do. We're going to be objective, not subjective. We're going to be very nuanced. That's the key word.
I look forward to the conversations, my brother.
Man, I appreciate it, man. But on that note, I got to go home and make my chitlin sandwich and go to bed.
Shout to Facebook. Shout to everybody on Facebook logged on right now. We appreciate the hell out you.
Yep, and I will be uploading this to the YouTube channel. And look out, like I said, once again, look out for that.
Shout to my ladies, my babies. Love y'all.
His ladies and his babies.
Yes,
Lord
sir.
Jesus help me. Well, shout out to all the kids that I don't take care of across the world. That they thought I died.
Nigga, you on your own. Okay, let me cut my mic off on this one. I'm done.